Bonjour les gars, comment allez-vous? Où avez-vous obtenu bon bélier? On dirait que vous le savez, là où je penche.
Mon ami, pensez-vous que vous êtes le seul à connaître toutes les bonnes nouvelles? Mon fils a acheté ce bélier, lui il est à l'étranger, avec Balouo.
Ah oui, en effet, ça doit être Balouo. Moi aussi, ma fille vient d'en acheter un de Balouo.
C'est Tobaski. Vous pouvez acheter du bélier pour votre famille en utilisant le Balouo de confiance. Connectez-vous simplement sur le site balouo.com ou téléchargez l'application sur votre téléphone portable. Achetez ce bazar de bélier et d'autres produits alimentaires tels que le riz, l'huile de cuisson, du sucre et bien d'autres choses encore pour votre famille. Balouo, mieux que dans votre argent.
Mango. Duga fi ñu sama jël. Na téléphone mo taje. Ha bitaka ne sa.
Yes, Mariama. Mariama, are you getting me? Thank you.
Okay. Can we have more light on that screen so that the witness could
Go on, please.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning, Mr. Danfa.
Good morning.
Can you please change positions a bit because the place where you are seemed a bit dark?
No, wait.
No, it's okay, it's okay. It's on our screen. It's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Shall we continue our proceedings? Counsel, are you ready with the witness who seems to be on the screen?
Hold on, please. We have to call our control room to get in there.
Who is telling us to hold on?
Hello. Hello, Mr. Witness. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
The Mandinka interpreter is quite loud. Can you please tone down the volume? Mr. Chairman, can we start now?
Absolutely. Please go on.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, everyone. And good morning to you, Mr. Danfa.
Good afternoon from Sweden.
Oh. Good afternoon to you then.
Thank you.
As you already know, my name is Mariama Singate, and I will be leading you today on behalf of the Commission. But before we start, I'd like to administer the affirmation to you. So if you can repeat after me, I,
Yaya Damfa,
do affirm that
do affirm that
I will speak the truth
I will speak the truth
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. Before we go into the topic of discussion, I'll just like to go over a few rules that will ensure that this conversation goes smoothly. As we speak, there is simultaneous interpretation going on, so I'll request that you speak slowly so that the interpreters can catch up on all that you're saying. And I'll also request that you allow for 3 seconds to pass before you answer my questions to ensure that our speeches do not overlap.
Okay.
The topics of discussion today will be first your background information to get us an insight into who you are. Then we'll deal with your educational background. We'll briefly discuss your military background and your shift into journalism. Your work, your investigative work as a journalist and some of the major cases you followed. Your arrest, detention, and subsequent exile to Dakar, and your encounter with the NIA while in Dakar. And finally, we'll give you an opportunity to discuss the impact of all these events on your life and that of your family. And the commissioners will also be given the opportunity to ask you questions.
Okay.
Can we start now?
Yeah.
Can you please tell us your full names?
My name is Yaya Damfa.
When and where were you born?
I was born on May 15, 1967 in Jara, Japine, in the Lower River region.
Can you tell us briefly about your educational background from your primary to the time you started work?
I attended January 1977 and to Park Linden Secondary Technical School, where I completed my secondary education. And 1988, I joined the army.
For how long did you remain in the army?
I served 6 years in the army. During those days, we signed 6 years contract, and I have my 6-year term in the army. That is from September 1988 to 1995, October. I left the army.
After retiring from the army, did you pick up another career?
Yes, after I left the army in 1995, I briefly stayed off for some time, and then I went into journalism in 1997.
From being a military officer to a journalist is quite a huge shift. Can you tell us what led to that shift?
Well, definitely when I was joining the army in 1988, I thought I was taking a career job. However, after a few years in the army, I realized I was in the wrong field. So after the completion of my 6-year term, I decided to disengage my services and pick route somewhere else before it was too late.
How did you begin your journalist career?
Well, when I left the army in 1995, I went. That was time of political fever in the country. That was from 1995-96. The military takeover, and then the transition was going on. Political parties were allowed established in 1996, and I decided to join DOI as a party at the time. So it was at our Congress at the Girls Guide in 1997 where a resolution was passed that some of the party members must take some responsibilities in the organs of the party. So I started as a party worker. So party works led me into journalism.
In which media house did you start your journalism career?
This would be Foroya paper. PDOIS. It was commercialized fully.
Can you tell us what the Fourier editorial policy was at the time you started?
Well, at the time, Foroya editorial policy was very strict because there Foroya is a paper which was very much critical about the government those days. And that being the case, the editorial policy is guiding each other. And in that, as a journalist in Foroya, you must make sure that you verify all the reports or stories that you get before publication. So our editorial policy was very much strict. Even though we are critical about the government, we make sure that anything that comes out on the paper is nothing but the truth.
When you started with Fourier, can you please tell us what kind of stories you were reporting on?
Well, you know, those days in Fourier, as I tell you, Fourier was a very critical paper. So it was critical about the government, I mean. So that being the case, people at that time took Fourier as a complaint center. If once people's loved ones are arrested, in most cases, in fact, before going, instead of going to the police stations to look for their loved ones, they come to Fourier to complain the arrest or abduction of their loved ones. And I used to be an investigative reporter. I report mainly on cases of human rights abuses, detention without trial, torture under custody, disappearance, and among others. These are mainly the areas. I was mainly engaged on human rights issues.
Can you please tell us some of the...
I reported on a lot of cases. The most popular among them would be the cases of, how do I call them? The group from Phony. You have the Jesaja Kujabi case. I reported that. I followed it up, investigated and reported about Jesaja Kujabi's arrest, prosecution, and And also I reported on the case of Haruna Jamme and Masi Jamme. I covered reported on the cases of the former chief of Phony Councillor, Muhammad Lamin Nyas, and Ndongo Mbub, Bubai Sanya, and down the line, I reported on the case of Rambo Jata, the arrest and disappearance of Rambo Jata, Usman Rambo Jata, the former councillor of Bakau Ward, Master Tamba Fofana, and Chief Ibrahim Amane. These are the popular stories that I covered.
Can you please tell us about the first one, being the case of Jong Seba Kujabi? How did you come to know about it?
Jisaja Kujabi's case was reported to our office. In fact, Jisaja's case was reported by his family members to our office that he had been arrested by the NIA and taken to Banjul. So we start our investigation from the NIA. When the matter was reported, my editor-in-chief, Samsar, assigned the case to me to investigate. So first I went to Phony to confirm his arrest and those who arrested him. According to the family sources, he was arrested by people who identified themselves as members of the National Intelligence Agency. So I followed my contacts at the NIA and got confirmation that he was briefly detained there and later moved to Mile 2 Central Prison. However, along the line, yes?
Sorry for interrupting you, but I just want us to get the name right. Is it John Saba or G Saja?
G Saja Kujabi.
Can you please spell it for us?
J-I-S-A-J-A-R.
Go ahead, please.
Yes. Later, this was in 2005. One day I got tips from my sources that he was charged and then going to be appeared in Brikama, at the Brikama Magistrate Court, where I took fare from my office, Foroya, and went to Brikama. He appeared in the court. He was charged for cattle theft, in that he was alleged to have stolen some herds of cattle from Yaya Jammeh's farm in Kanilai, where he was in charge at the time. And in that court proceedings, he was represented by Lamin Jobate. That would be Baba Dindin Jobate. Lawyer Jobate was his counsel. He appeared on 3 occasions in that court, but after the third adjournment, he was taken back to Mile 2. That is where I last heard of him.
Do you know where G. Saja was arrested from?
Magistrate Court was presided. Hello?
Do you know where he was arrested? The place?
Gisaja was arrested from Phony. That would be in the Phony Consular.
And what was his position then?
He was a close aide to Yaya Jammeh. He was somebody who was very close to Yaya Jammeh at the time, and I think he was in charge of the Kalilai farm at one point.
You mentioned that he was arrested in connection of a theft of cattle. Do you know if the case was reported to the police?
That was what he was charged with. He was charged for cattle theft. But knowing Jammeh, he could be arrested for any other thing.
You also mentioned that he appeared before the magistrate court twice, and on the third adjourned date, he did not appear. Right?
Right. Yes.
You said you last heard of him at Mile 2. Am I correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Let's go to the second case, which is that of Haruna. Can you please tell us about that?
Haruna Jammeh's case also was reported to our office. In fact, this particular report came through one of my seniors at Foroya, in the person of Sekou Nyasi. He was the one who came with somebody who reported the matter, and Sekou briefed me about he gave me background information about Haruna Jammeh, that he is a half-brother to Yaya Jammeh, and he was reported arrested or abducted. So when the matter was reported, in that also, my editors assigned the case to me. I went to Phony, even though Kalilai at the time was a no-go area for many journalists, but I managed to go in there and talk to some people who confirmed to me that he was arrested by the NIA and some soldiers. But he was first taken to the NIA headquarters in Banjul, and later he also ended up in Mile 2 prison. So I followed his case, but there was nothing positive coming out. I couldn't get any further information. The last information I got about him was that he was last seen at Mile 2 Central Prison. So this was the time. After some time, we got another report that his sister, in the passing of Mercy Jammeh, was also arrested. And according to our investigation, my investigation, Haruna's arrest came when he confronted Yaya Jammeh and advised him to stop, desist from grabbing the landed properties of the people of Phony. This did not, according to the information, this did not go down well with Jammeh. He feels like Haruna was challenging his authority, kind of. So he ordered for his arrest. And when Mercy also came down to inquire about his brother's disappearance, Mercy also ended up being arrested and also disappeared. For Mercy's case, we only got information of his arrest, and when I follow it, he was taken by junglers, and that's the end. No further information on her.
Can you tell us between the time of Haruna's arrest and the time of Mercy's arrest, how long was it?
It would be in the range of a month or so, not more than 2 months.
I know as a journalist you're not supposed to reveal your sources, but did you confirm this information that you had from multiple sources, or did you rely on only an individual?
No, we speak to a lot of people. You know, as I tell you, Foroya at the time, even though we were very critical about the government, we are also very careful with what we report. In fact, this make us survive a lot of survive during the time of Jammeh. They may not like what we report, but thank God nobody would come and say what you wrote is not true. Normally, what they will complain is these are reports that we don't want you to report. But there was never a time that someone comes to challenge our report to say what you have written is not correct, inaccurate.
When was this incident reported?
In 2005.
Did you publish any article with respect to your findings?
Yes, we made publications on Foroya.
Let's go to the third incident. That is that of Mohammed Lamin Nyasi. Can you please tell us about that?
Yeah, it was also one day we got information at Foroya. Somebody came to report that the former chief of Phony Councillor and 2 or 3 other people were arrested. That is Bubai Sanyang and Ndongombu. Yeah, 2 other people. So I went to Sangaj, where Mohamed Lamin Nyasi is from. I went to his compound, and I was told that a pickup came sometime around the evening prayers, Maghrib prayers time. And after he was arrested, then they drove to Kankuntu, where Bubai Sanyang was also arrested together with Ndongo.
Who was Ndongo Bub and Bubai Sanya? Who were those individuals? You've already told us that Mohamed Lamin Nyasi was a former chief. Who are the other people?
Mohamed Lamin Nyasi was a former chief, and Bubai Sanyang is from Phony Kankuntu, and Ndongo Mbub would also be from either Kangajor or Kankuntu. But these are a group of people who are they were very close to Jammeh. They run errands for him, publicly and privately.
Do you know what kind of errands they run for Jammeh?
This would include buying of animals like cattle, and yeah. organizing people to go and work on his farm.
Do you know what positions, if any, they had with respect to working with Jammeh?
Well, not actually. I don't know if they had any particular position or so. But this group were also alleged to have mismanaged some. They were case connected to cattle theft here and there, and mismanagement of certain funds.
You've told us previously that the case of John's, is it? Sorry, help me with the name. Gisaja. The case of Gisaja was connected to cattle theft. Is it the same incident as that of Mamadou Lamin Nyasi or a separate incident?
They were also accused of a similar case.
These two incidents occur right at the same time?
No, Gisaja was arrested well before the Nyasi and the two others.
When this matter was reported, did you find out about the whereabouts of these individuals, Mamadou Lamin Nyasi, Ndongo Boop, and Bubai Sanya?
Well, the first information we got was they were arrested by the NIA and taken to Banjul. So I managed to investigate and got information that they were at one time detained at the NIA headquarters. But later on, they were also transferred to Mile 2 Central Prison. But these three were never charged to court. They never appeared in any court.
Did you eventually find out their whereabouts if they never appeared in court?
Not actually. The last information we got was they were detained at Mile 2 Central Prison. So what happened to them from there, I don't know.
And when exactly did this incident occur?
It would also be in 2005.
Actually, we have information that the disappearance of Ndongo Boop, it's sometime around 2006.
Well, yes, would be these cases were started in 2005. They were arrested and released, arrested again, and the case was proceeding until in 2006. In fact, up to the time of my exile, we were investigating their cases, which was in 2007.
Can you tell us about the next one being the case of Rambo Jatta?
Yeah, Rambo Jatta won the the councillorship election in 2007 or 6, I think. Yeah, and from there he was arrested here and there, being moved from one police station to another. It took me some time before I really find out where Rambo was, until one day in 2006. In fact, I was out to look for Chief Mane when I came across Rambo in Sarangai. And I came back to Foroya and reported Matt. He was being moved from one police station to another. He has been detained in several police stations.
Do you know when Rambo Jatta was arrested?
No, I cannot remember exactly when the year he was arrested, but it was after the cancellation which he won, and this did not go down well with Jammeh. So his election victory that he was arrested. Because my investigation investigation of Chief Mane's case that I came across Rambo in Sarangai.
Moving on to the case of Chief Mane, can you tell us how you got information about Chief Mane's arrest?
Chief Mane's arrest, the information came to us, I think, a day after his arrest. I was in Foroya writing another report when I had my editor-in-chief in the person of Samuel Osesar assigning one journalist by the name Bubakar Sow to go to Bakau at the Daily Observer office and find out from the managing editor, Dr. Sujatal, what had happened to Chief Ibrahim Mane, that we got information that he was arrested. Bubakar Sow left Foroya and went to Bakau. An hour or so later, he came back running. And we all realized that he was panicked. And he reported to Samsar that when he went to Sujatal's office and asked him about the case of Chief Mane, when was he arrested or what was he arrested for, Saja asked him, where did you come from? He said, he used an F word to say, go and tell your editors this and that. And in the next minute, if I will call the NIS to come and pick you. So the young journalist came back home running. He came back to the office running. So we reported this to Samsar, the editor-in-chief. I was writing a report at the time. After finishing my report, I told Sam that I have interest in this and if he could assign that to me. That was how I was assigned, the case was assigned to me. So I started from Bakau, his point of arrest. I went to Observer, where this time around I did not approach Saja because I know he would be hostile. So what I did was I tried to talk to some of the journalists and other staffs present at the Daily Observer to get confirmation of Chief Mane's arrest. I was told he was arrested by plainclothes officers and taken to, and a police officer also was there, a non-police officer. I couldn't remember his name, but they told me the name of this particular police officer who comes from Bakau police station, and that he was taken to Bakau police station. So I went to Bakau police station to find out if he was there. The information I got there was Chief had been moved to the NIA.
Okay, thank you very much. We will call you again on this particular issue because this is an issue of interest to the Commission. And we know that you have sufficient information with respect to Chief Mane's issue. So we'll call you once we start our hearing on it, and you will speak and testify as to all that you know about it.
Okay.
Aside from Chief Mane's issue, were you involved in any other investigations?
Yes, that would be the case of the school headmaster, Mr. Tamba Fofana. Tamba was reported by his wife and the son. I forgot the wife's name, but the son's name is Musa Fofana, who came to the Foroya office to report that his father was arrested from Kudang, where he was posted as the school headmaster. So I took up that case also, went to Kudang to find out from what happened to Master Tamba Fofana. The information I got from Kudang was that it was during Yaya Jammeh's Meet the People store or political campaign. Jammeh was coming from Basse, passing Kudang, and it was as it was the culture. School children and the villagers would line up in their various communities to welcome him. The headmaster Tamba Fofana is a handicap. According to the information, he told his teachers, instead of lining up the children in the Kudang Lumo area, he decided that the school children move to in front of the military barracks, where the public concentration would be minimal. Because according to them, Tamba so that Jammeh throws T-shirts and people normally scrambles. And the school children are young children who could be open, and that he wanted for the safety and security of his children. That's why he moved the children towards the military barracks. This did not go down well with the passing of Bunja Mama Sise, who reported the matter to the police. He reported the matter to Omar Jao, the police commissioner in the area at the time, and that Bunja was Master Tamba is an opposition sympathizer. In fact, during the at one point, he allowed the opposition United Democratic Party to hold a meeting at Kudang football field. So based on this, Tamba was arrested. He was briefly detained around Birkamba, Bansang, and in December 2006, when I was investigating some cases, including the case of Chief Ibrahim Omane, I went to Fatoto police station in December 2006, and I wanted to see both Mr. Tamba Fofana and Chief Ibrahim being brought out from the cell and served with food. So I came back to Foroya and reported the matter. When I cited them, I first called my editor from Basse, Samsar. I went back from Fatoto, called Samsar, and in fact, I have cited these two persons. He asked me to return back to Banjul quickly. I went the following. He asked me to go to the police PRO and tell him that the missing persons who the police claim are not in their custody have been cited in Basse, in Fatoto, under the custody of the Fatoto police station. So I went to Banjul and met the public relation officer in the person of Inspector Assis Boja. When I told Assis about my sightings, is a man who normally used to give me information anytime. If I ask anything that I approach him, Assis was very open to us, to me in particular. If I approach him anytime for any information, he normally give me these informations without hiding anything. So when I told him about these sightings, he told me on off record that the police had no hand in the arrest of Chief Ibrahim Omane in particular, and that it was the NIA who arrested him and transferring him from one police station to another. So I took his words because I would not like to quote him. That could have implicated him also. I went back to Foroya and write my report that when I contacted the police PRO, he was not going to comment on the issue. So that was reported on in December 6th. That was where I last saw Master Tamba. The other day I should have seen him would be later on 2007 when the Amnesty staffs and others came down. We were going on a fact-finding mission. Because, yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Danfa. I just want some clarification on all these people that you've mentioned that you cited and then you didn't see them ever again. With respect to Jisaba Kujabi, Haruna Jamme, Masia, Mohamed Lamin Nyasi, Ndongo Mbup, Babai Sanyang, and Master Tamba, and Chief Mane.
Yeah.
Do you know if since after their arrest, they were released eventually?
It was Master Tamba Fofana who was released. Apart from Tamba Fofana, I had not heard of the release of any of these persons. And Tamba's release came later in October 2007. That on the 6th of October, I embarked on a fact-finding mission, a team of Amnesty staffs in the presence of Tania Bernard Bashir Ayodela Amin. For the fact that I last saw Usman Rambo Jata in Sarangai, we started from Sarangai. From Banjul, we drove Sarangai. We arrived at in Sarangai around between 3 to 4. Yeah, around 3 o'clock we arrived in Sarangai. On arrival, when we when we were approaching the police station, I saw Usman Rambo Jata. He was brewing attire for the police. He was wearing a white singlet, sitting in front of the police station with the police and brewing attire for them. So I told my partners that the hefty tall man sitting there in the white shirt is Usman Rambo Jata. When we come out of our vehicle, we greeted them and introduced ourselves. Tania Bernard told them that they are staffs from Amnesty International on a fact-finding mission about the condition of detainees and also the working condition of security forces in the country. The moment that introduction was done, the police asked Usman Rambo Jata to go into the cells, take Rambo in. So Rambo's here saw an opportunity that I have been here for years, over 1 year. So now it's an opportunity. As they were pushing him, taking him back to the cells, he shouted on top of his voice, "My name is Usman Rambo Jata, the elected councillor of wards. I have been detained for over 1 year, 2 months. Been detained." He was mentioned in various places that he was held in at and how long he have been in Sarangai. So we were also following them as they were taking him inside. They took him inside the police station. We followed him there, and he was locked up in the police cell. At that particular moment, the station officer in Basse, Sarangai, was one Mr. Jiba. I think, if I remember the first name, I think it would be Kulu Jiba was the station officer in Sarangai at the time. And I believe this station officer passed away now. So we were, okay.
My apologies for cutting you. You mentioned that you were on a fact-finding mission with Amnesty International. Did anything
Yes.
occur along the way as a result of the mission that you embarked on?
Yes. From Sarangai, we went via Basse, planning to go to Fatoto, where I last saw Master Tamba Fofana. So we came down to Basse at around the Basse market. It was during the month of Ramadan. Myself and Basir Ayodela Amin were fasting. So we wanted to take the opportunity of buying some foodstuffs so that if the time of cutting fast meet us in Fatoto or along the way, we can eat something. But before we even buy, a group of plainclothes officers and stood by and then people pointing hands at us. So we find out what was it. And they told us, come, you are under arrest. He said, who are you? He said, they only identify themselves as NIA officers. So they put us in our own car, vehicle, and took us. Instead of going to the police station, they drove us to the Basse Mansajankunda, to the residence of the divisional commissioner.
As at the time they were arresting you, did they tell you the reason for your arrest?
No, never, not at all.
How did they act towards you when they were arresting you?
Well, they were like, if you have found your missing ships, you are trying to put them together, trying to, wave us like everyone was, they surrounded us kind of, and telling us we are under arrest. But apart from telling us that they are NIA officers, they never tell us the reason of our arrest, where they are taking us, or the name of the persons arresting us.
Did you identify yourselves to them as a journalist and also your partner as someone that works for Amnesty International?
No, we did not get that chance. We were not given that opportunity. But on arrival at the commissioner's den, we in fact tried to introduce ourselves that these are Amnesty staffs, and I am a journalist who is guiding on this tour on a fact-finding mission. And that before these people come down to Banjul, they had got clearance from the Inspector General of Police and also from the Office of the President. There was a clearance sent to them. In fact, when they called finally to speak to the Inspector General of Police, Benedict Jammeh, then Benedict Jammeh was in the UK. He told them, well, I'm in the UK right now, I'm here with you, but go to Banjul, because they came on the 4th. On the 5th, we had a training session for journalists and media, human rights organizations. So on the 6th, we departed to go on the field exercise. So we tried to explain all this to them, but no, they did not even bother to take any statement from us. We were parked at the commissioner's office like that. They were calling everywhere. I don't know who they are calling or why they are calling. So it was during the course of that, because this was around sharp 5 o'clock. When they were arresting us, I looked at my clock. It was 5 p.m. in the evening. We were at the commissioner's office until 6:30. So I remember that we had our luggages and the laptop vehicle, which was parked somewhere outside the commissioner's residence. So, and contains a lot of information. The few days that the Amnesty staff had in the combo, we interviewed with a lot of people from media, heads of houses, politicians, and other human rights organizations. So in the NIA and their trend of operations at the time, I fear that if they got access to those interview papers and the laptop edition, other people might also be arrested. So I managed to escape from where we were held. I sneaked out. Thank God nobody talked to me or see me, or I don't know why. I went out. I found the driver was sitting somewhere outside. I asked him to drive the car. I joined the car. He drove us back to Basse. On arrival at Basse town, I went straight to a telecenter where I made calls to my family, my office, Foroya, the Amnesty International office in Senegal, and the UK, informing them of our arrest and where we were held.
At that point, where was your partner? And you also mentioned earlier that you had several security men who came to arrest you. Where were these security men?
They were all in the room. They were all in the room. But I don't know, I sneaked out. And I went down, I made a call. After making that call, I went to my friend Ibrahim Ellis Marena, where I asked Marena to offload the baggage of our vehicle and take them to a safe place. So in fact, I told Marena, he's from Kudang, he's my very good friend. I asked him if even if he wants, he can take them to Kudang. I give him some money to take those things as far as Kudang. But he took them outside Basse and keep them somewhere. So I returned back after making that, offloading the vehicle and making that call, those calls. On my return, few minutes later, the divisional police commissioner, in the person of Ibrahim Cham, who I know very well, came in with some other persons who I assume are heads of the NIA at the time in Basse. You know, when they came, they told the officers who were who arrested us that what is happening. The information about this arrest is filtering out. The Amnesty director in the UK is already on the BBC Focus on Africa.
You mentioned that you sneaked out for a couple of maybe probably minutes and then came back. How come no one noticed that you sneaked out and came back in? At the time you were in the commissioner's office, did they tell you the reason why you were there, or did they ask you any questions with respect to your work?
So this is something that...
You mentioned that you were moved to a police station. At what point did they move you to the police station? And which police station was it?
us. But the law says before you put us in the cells, you must charge us. So we are not charged, we cannot go into the cells. This nearly earned me a slap from him. He was very angry. He told his officers that he knows me, that I am an ex-soldier turned journalist. I was going to the GTTI reading law here and there. So he was angry. Them for spies. So when he told them to charge us for spying, I told him, well, we will not have a difficult day in court because we are not needed to defend this. So they wanted to take our cautionary and voluntary and told them, well, we will not give any statement until we have a lawyer present. So he told Ibrahim Cham, the station of police commissioner, turned and faced me. He said, yeah, you keep making our work difficult for us. You know that all the lawyers live in the Congo. We cannot get a lawyer here to be present before you give your statement. I said, but that's my right. The law gave me that right. So you cannot take that from me. We are not going to say anything. If you will forcefully put us in the cells, that's left. But we are not going to give our statement without having a lawyer present. So that was the time he said, he asked them to park us behind the counter. So I asked if my friend Marena can bring us a mattress, which they agreed to. And we spent the night on the mattress behind the counter until around between 2 and 3 a.m. We had a vehicle stop in front of the station. 3 men came in, talking to the police on duty. I don't know what they discussed. One of them shouted my name, Yaya. I said, yes. He said, come. So I followed him. I went to over the counter, and he started leading me out of the station. At this point, Tanya Bernard, one of my partners, the female partner, shouted and started crying, telling Ayodele Amin that they are taking Yaya, they're going to kill him. So I was taken behind the police station. There is a small room opposite behind the police station where they took me.
How many of you were arrested and kept at the police station?
3 of us. They wanted to include the driver. I told them he knows nothing about our trip. I hired him from Senegambia, and his work is only driving. He doesn't know what we are doing, and that's it. He's not part of us. He's just a driver.
The 3 that were arrested, you mentioned that one was working for Amnesty International. Was the other one working for Amnesty International as well?
Tanya, both of them works for Amnesty International. Tanya Bernard was the researcher for West Africa Dex at the time, at the Amnesty International. And Ayodele Amin is the campaigner for West Africa Dex. They were both based in the UK.
When they took you to the other room, what did they do to you? What happened?
Well, in that room, I was asked to write a statement and my partners, which I disagree. I refuse to do that. So they promised me of my freedom. I say no, I will not do it. They try as hard as possible. I spent almost 1 hour with them, trying to persuade me to do that. I said no, I will not do it. So later, one of them said in a hard tone, leave him, take him back. When we go to Banjul tomorrow, he will speak. So they took me back to the station where I joined my partners behind the counter.
Were your partners also subjected to the same interrogation?
No, no. At Basse, they were not from the police, from the divisional commissioner's residence. We were never asked any other question. I was the only person who was taken out in that odd hour to and asked to give a statement in and implicate my partners, which I refused to do.
Were you eventually released after that?
No, we were transported to Banjul the following day, and that would be on the 7th of October, sorry. We were transported to Banjul in our own vehicle. We came back to Banjul. On departure, my friend Ibrahim Eles Marena made calls to Samsar and other media houses to inform them that now they are moving them from Basse, coming down to Banjul. So on arrival at Banjul, we were met by a lot of journalists. I saw people like Madin Jai, Baba Fabakar Sise, and Musa Sarif running behind our vehicle when we were being transported from, when we crossed the ferry from Bara. We came down to the police station. On arrival at the police station, because we were denied food, and this I told Marena that when he was making call, that we were not given food, and Marena I gave him the Amnesty director's number. He also called and informed them about. He was regularly updating the Amnesty office in the UK that night. We were not given food. I was keeping fast. Bashir Adela was keeping fast. We were not given the opportunity to break our fast. So we stayed without food the whole day. The following day, we fasted. So because this was announced on the radio, on the BBC, that we were fast for 2 days. We were at the station, we met the American ambassador or consular, because Tanya Bernard is a dual citizen of British, is a British American citizen. So the American ambassador and the consular and the British consular were all present. The Nigerian consular was also present, or High Commissioner, because Bashir Amin is a Nigerian citizen. So I met my family also there. Samsar was there, and from African Center for Human and People's Rights, Auntie Adela Soso there. They all carry gets full with food. We had a lot of food to eat at that day.
Did they eventually release you after so much people came and gathered?
No, we were put in cells. That at that point we were charged, and because lawyer Kamara and lawyer Tambidu came down to represent us, a cautionary statement was obtained from each of us, and myself and Bashira De La Amin were put in the cells. Tania, a female partner, was detained behind the counter. In the cells where we were put in Banjul, we found 35 other people in that cell. Some of them are said to be mentally ill and even TB patients. So we saw an opportunity. We were doing our investigation from the outside. Now here we are detained with 35 other people. We send, I called the police, because there was a police officer on duties, Bakari Nyang, who was my senior in the army and a good friend of mine. So I asked him if he can buy us uh, an exercise book and a pen, which he did. So we started interviewing everyone in that cell, asking them the reason for their arrest and how long they have been there. And some of them have been in that police cells in Banjul for over 1 year. And the crimes of most of them are loitering. They were in the streets of Banjul or Serekunda in late hours.
You did mention that you were charged for spying while you were in Basse. Was it the same charges that were levied on you when you went to Banjul?
Yes, in Banjul also they said yes. So the following day we were taken for interrogation at the serious crime. I think when Malamin something, Malamin, I don't know, was the head of the Malamin or Mohamed Lamin something was the head of the serious crime unit. Sise maybe, was head of the serious crime unit. And during that course of their interrogation, they asked us our IDs. And Tania produced 2 passports, British and American. This is an opportunity. These people are more than spies. This woman is a criminal. So they transfer us from serious crime to Interpol, where we met one man, I know him, Starbaji. Starbaji was heading the Interpol unit at the time. He's a tall, lanky guy. I think he lives near my place in Latrikunda, Piccadilly area. You know, so he tried very hard to pin us down, to try to implicate us, until on the 8th, 9th, when Burama Diba, the then CMC, called us in the person of Benedict Jammeh. The police PRO was there. I couldn't remember who was the PRO at the time. But Burama Diba told them in a clear language that we are holding these people illegally. They had a clearance to come and do what they are doing here. The NIA arrested them and now handed them to us, the police. So all what is being reported on the newspapers and on the radios is that the police are holding these people. To avoid that, we have to go to the president's office and tell the president, Yahya Jammeh, that these people committed no crime. So from there, we know that, oh, on the whole, Jammeh is aware and maybe he have interest in our case.
While this conversation was going on, was it said to your hearing or did you hear it from a third party?
Yes. We all heard it clearly. The group was standing right in front of us. When Ibrahima told them, Alimbe Sila Alala, you know, we all have to fear God and do what is right. So that was the day they were the State House. Hours later, we were asked to find people who can sign our bail bonds. And when I asked them the bail conditions, they told me the bail bond is $5,000. You know, so I nearly fainted because I was thinking, who is going to sign my bail bond? But the American ambassador, consular, signed bail bond. The British consular signed their Bernard's bail. The Nigerian High Commissioner bailed Ayodele Amin, and a person from the American embassy was asked to sign my bail bond. And this happened to be former Captain or Major Ben Wilson. It was Wilson who signed my bail bond. So we were released on bail and asked to report on a daily basis. We were reporting every day until on the 12th, when they told us that the case is dropped, you are free to go. We went back to the hotel in Senegambia, and my partners flew out of the country that evening.
Did anything happen to you as a result of the work you did with Amnesty International?
Of course, what happened to me was after my release, I got alerts from some of my contacts. You know, as an ex-soldier, I had some friends in the State House who called to say they had it to their hearing. Ajame was giving directives that they should come after me, they should arrest me. You know, so these people sent me, first they sent text messages, I didn't respond, and I received series of calls alerting me, informing me about this danger. I say, no, I'm not going anywhere. My family were worried, my friends were worried, until later, my late friend, the former clerk of the National Assembly, Dudu CM Kebe, came to my house late in the night and informed me that he also had received a similar information from a friend who asked him to alert me, because most of them know my relation with Kebe, and in fact, they think we are brothers, you know. So he told me this is real, and you have to leave. This is not going to be an arrest. I know you are not afraid of being arrested, but this time it would be an abduction. So you can go missing. But before leaving, there were in front of our compound in Latrikunda, Piccadilly, about 10 meters away, is where
Sorry, Mr. Damfa, we have missed what you've said so far. The last thing we heard was in front of your compound in Piccadilly. Can you please start from there?
Yes, there were this group of boys who used to brew at their chat. They know a vehicle came and parked around Jim Drame's house.
Hello, Mr. Damfa, can you hear me? Hello? Obi-Wan, can you please help us with the witness? Hello? Mr. Chairman, the problem seems not to be here, but from his own end. It's like we've lost contact with the witness.
How much more time is left in your questioning?
Since we've heard a chunk of what the witness has to say, and we have another witness coming up. Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you, but we can't see you. Okay.
I'm seeing you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Damfan. Now our challenge is we have just about 20 minutes to go. So if we can briefly explain how you were forced to go on exile, and then what happened while you were in Dakar, so that we can wrap up your testimony.
Yeah, yes. Having that happen, the following day I park out and then cross the from to Bara, Farafenye. Even though I told my people that I was going straight to Senegal, I went to Pakalinding where I spent the night. During the night, I went to my village, Japine, and informed the agent about what was happening. So the following morning, on the 15th of October, I flew to Dhaka. And in November, whilst in Dhaka, I continue to engage at the human rights field, and also get connected to Dufka of the human rights. So in November, I went to Abuja, where I testified in the case of Kif Ibrahim Amane, together with Usman Dabo. Yes, and yeah, that was in November. When we returned, I continued even before we go. I was fixed, become a research fixer for Human Rights Watch. We managed to interview all the Gambian exiles in Dhaka. This research in Dhaka was done by the Human Rights Watch. So later, on the 10th of March 2008, around between 2 and 3 a.m., I was in my house in Grayof, Aslem Padua to be precise, when I on my door. I came out to find I saw two gentlemen standing. I saw two men in front of my door. They asked me if I am Yaya. I say yes. And then the third person came to join them. They said they identified themselves as Gambians who have concerns of human rights issues and want to discuss with me. I told them, well, it is a wrong time. I am going for a mission. Can you take me, give me your numbers? I call you another day, we talk. So they were insisting to speak to me. And they wanted me to follow them to their car, which I refused. So in that, one of them raised his jacket, and I saw a pistol stuck in under his jacket. So when I saw the pistol, I said, "Oh, this is a Magnum pistol. Hold it with care." So they asked me, "You follow us to the car?" I said, "No problem. Let's go." On approaching the vehicle, the parked vehicle, there were two other men, the driver and one other person inside, who opened the door and asked me in. So there is a shop in front of our compound, and there were a lot of people there. They also used to gather there. That was the point. I also pushed them and shouted, "Sake, sake, thief, thief." So when these people started running towards us, they also ran into their vehicle and sped. Called Corin Dufka of Human Rights Watch. I made a call to Amnesty, and Corin asked me to leave my house. I went to Parcel, where Musa Sedikan used to live, and later on I was called by members of DIC, the Senegalese Intelligence Police. They came down to Parcel, collect me to their headquarters, interview me, and ask me to go back. They will provide security for me. I don't know how. Until when I left in Senegal, I was provided security. I don't know how. It was not clear to me. They told me, "Go, we are watching." So
Hello?
but before going, I went back to the police. Hello?
Please.
Yes, hello?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes. Before leaving Senegal, I went back to the police to inform them that I am leaving. Now I have been granted asylum in Sweden, where I will be going on the 22nd of April 2008 with my family. They told me, well, we got information also from the Senegalese Human Rights Commission, and thank God everything went smoothly. One of them told me that they were the ones posted around my house. So I don't need to divulge on how were operating, because they were protecting me. Maybe another day they may have another similar security plans for another person. This here is where my country, where I pay tax, refuse to protect my rights. Here in Senegal, Senegalese government went as far as provide security forces to protect my life, which is very interesting. To Sweden, where I came down with my family, and I continue my of action. You know, I'm testifying on the 22nd of April. Every day today, we hold all over, and we call it Gambia Day of Action. We coincide the military takeover. We also use them to shame him and to expose the human rights abuses to the world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Danfa. I know that you've not said all that you have done, your work related to investigations about enforced disappearances and arrests. We will call you back again to discuss some of these issues that you were investigating. But this is all from me today, and I'll hand you over now to the chairman for them to ask you any further questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council, and thank you, Mr. Damfa, for your testimony. Commissioners, if you have any questions? No, there doesn't seem to be any. Mr. Damfa, you have any closing remarks to make? If you do, please proceed to make them now.
Thank you very much. Yes, I have a short note to something short, very short to say. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the commissioners, members. The world at large. And I joined
Hello? Obi-Wan, can you please help us with the witness? Mr. Chairman, I'm just told that it's from his end.
Well, I was just giving him some chance to see if he would reconnect. If not, I hope his statement is being recorded. If that is the case, then at least it will be part of the record. Let's see.
Indeed, Mr. Chairman, that was what I was about to suggest.
Splendid. If that is it, then we would take our... thank you again very much. If that is being recorded as well, you can hear it later on or whenever. But we want to thank you for coming to testify before the Commission, Mr. Damfa. We will take a 1 hour break, come back at 12:30. Sorry, 2:30. My apologies. Just waiting for Council to finish consultation. We will take our 1 hour lunch break. We'll come back to you I believe you may have a witness lined up for that. So it's going to be a busy afternoon. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. This pretty much wraps it up on the theme dealing with the muscling of the media. If we have a new witness who adds a new dimension to this inquiry, we would interpose, we would bring that witness subject to the approval of the Commission. So this is a continuing investigation. But as planned, this brings the end to the investigations on the issue of the media and the journalists. So this afternoon, we would start a new theme. And at the appropriate time today, before the commencement of the session after the lunch break, we would indicate which topic or which theme we are moving on to, and possibly the subject matters that are to be expected. In the meantime, I guess we can go on a lunch break and look forward to the hearing this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur. Thank you very much, Council. We will take the 1 hour break. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Alhamdulillah. Alaga. Yetude Allah buy. On to tudon di bali ko rina kam sikki dom. Enen jati. An hiida sikka ko antum humpitoto kabaruji moƴƴidin kal diwal men ɗo. Awa fayi. Min kadi ngiɗo ko ɓiɗɗa ko woni ko jonnani min ngi immorde e balu.
mi anduno ɗum ko baluwo tu wawi ɗum ɗo. On gi bali lando ko ɓiɗɗa on addaniran giɗo jonni langi ko iwre e baluwo.
Ndeno julde donking hida wawi sodande ɓingure ma nden bali mawngi e oɗo baluwo service ko watta rek no weeɓi yahu ka website ɗum woni www.baluwo.com waɗa download app on e baluwo hida wawi sodude ñameteji wawɗi wa maro sukar nebban e ko heewi baluwo ɓuri nuldugol mbuɗi
yaadu